Blinken, the new Secretary of State. So he does an interview today with MSNBC, and he talks about China. He talks about Iran and Russia, of course. The axis of evil came up, of course. Even North Korea, but not Syria, I think, not so much. Anyway, so I want to focus on Iran. Okay, I want to focus on Iran over here about what he said. This is great. Just more of the same nonsense. Here we go. Iran is weeks away from having material to build a nuclear bomb. What, again? Again? Really? Damn. That's absolutely crazy, man. It feels like, to me, it feels like they're always a few weeks away from having a nuclear bomb. You remember when Netanyahu was saying that Iran is 6 months away from having a nuclear bomb? This is back in 2012. Wow. That's almost a decade ago. Crazy, right? I don't know how that must work, but, maybe 6 months in Iran is like equal to a decade. Maybe they have a different space-time continuum. I don't know. Oh my goodness, from 2013, new report says Iran can have a nuclear bomb in a month. Going back even further, here's Colin Powell. Again, one of our favorite neocons. This is in 2004. That's almost 20 fucking years ago, man. Powell says Iran is pursuing a nuclear bomb. Oh my God. This is crazy. Crazy, right? We've come full circle from one neocon to another. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? And I played you the video from his confirmation hearing.
Enriching at a higher level. It is deploying centrifuges in ways that were prohibited under the agreement. The result is, based on public reporting, the breakout time, the time it would take Iran to produce enough fissile material for one weapon, has gone from beyond a year, as it was under the JCPOA, to about 3 or 4 months, based at least on public reporting. And that potential...
they lie so easily, right? After the Bush administration lied about Iraq, it's just the bar is so low now. You can just throw it out there, Yeah, man. Of course they're working on nukes. It's like they're 3-4 months away. And wait, Powell said that already? Yeah, whatever, man. They got fissile material now, and we totally want to get back into JCPOA. Do you notice the staggering hypocrisy here? If you are the United States, right, and you are so worried that Iran is going to get a nuclear weapon, and you claim that without a shadow of a doubt, look, they are 3 or 4 months away. Oh my God. Why the fuck then would you not rejoin the only thing that carries out verification, that limits the number of centrifuges and enriched uranium? The Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA. Why would you be pussyfooting around and wasting time and wondering and pondering and contemplating whether you're going to re-engage in diplomacy with Iran? If you're so worried, you just heard him. He just said 3-4 months. That's the Secretary of State right now, not Powell, right? Even though he said the same thing. No, that's the current one. Again, saying the same thing. And he helped with the JCPOA originally, right? It's part of Obama's regime. So would you not rush to get back into the JCPOA if you're so worried? And you are one of the people who's engaged in that diplomatic endeavor? What are you doing? That's weird. Weird, right? It's odd. They're so full of it, man. They're so awful. So Robert Malley, okay, he's back in the game. Let me pull this up for you. There we go. Robert Malley. He was the lead negotiator for the JCPOA. You can see him sitting at the end of the table over there. So he's from the crisis group. Okay, that's his organization, the crisis group, right? They do mediation. They do exactly what Robert Malley was sent to do when they were negotiating the Iran deal. You can see him sitting opposite Zarif, who's Iran's foreign minister, right? And there's John Kerry, right? Another neocon ghoul. So, Robert Malley, it's really interesting because you've seen so much hate and criticism coming towards this guy. And, a lot of people, if you go read, for example, a lot of people in Israel, a lot of Zionists, a lot of neocons in the US, a lot of Iran hawks. They're even worried about this guy. They don't want him back, right? He's too soft for them. You know, they want to kill people in Iran with, you know, bombs and sanctions and, you know, anything else that doesn't work for them. If you start lifting sanctions and letting civilians in Iran survive, that doesn't work for them. That's not bloody enough, right? So Robert Malley, he doesn't quite quench their bloodlust. They have an issue with him, right? Now, look, man, if you ask me, and again, you can go and ask people in Iran. Even in Iran, you're going to have tons of different opinions about the nuclear deal, right? Some people are indifferent to it. They think it's neither good nor bad. Some people vehemently disagree with it. Some people are in favor of it, right? I mean, the way I see it, I think, of course, diplomacy is better than sanctions and war, obviously. But at the end of the day, I mean, could you imagine Iran coming to the US and saying, hey, you're not allowed to have nuclear weapons. As a matter of fact, you're not even allowed to have a nuclear energy sector. You're not allowed to have nuclear power without us sending IAEA inspectors to all of your nuclear sites, okay? And we're going to sanction you until you do. And you can't engage in, you know, transfer of arms. And, you know, if you step out of line, we might drone strike one of your generals. And, you know, any kind of diplomacy is going to be short-lived. We're going to pull out a deal anyway, and you know, put sanctions on you. We're going to kill you and just starve your people again. I mean, could you imagine this level of arrogance, this kind of aggression? Iran doing that to the U.S. Israel, for example, they have nukes. Did anyone ever inspect Israel's nuclear sites? Could you imagine the outrage if someone even suggested that? How dare you? Right? How dare you? They won't even confirm that they have nukes. Everyone fucking knows they have nukes. Of course they do. They have nukes. It's confirmed. We know that. But they won't officially say that they do. Could you imagine the outrage? So, you know, I think obviously diplomacy is better than what we have right now, right? But it is quite, you know, at the end of the day, you have essentially Western powers coming in, wagging their finger in Iran's face and imposing conditions on it that they do not do to themselves nor their allies. Yes, it's a double standard, obviously. Now, Iran, I mean, if they had nukes, man, you know, that I'm dying to see them, because you keep saying 4 weeks away, 3 months away, and you've been saying that for the last 2-3 decades. So, you know, if they had something, they would have said something, man. They don't have anything. And now they're angry at Malley being appointed, right? And I think it's really important to pay attention also to the language being used, because this is now it's considered normal in the media to say this. And you hear not just the officials like Blinken saying it, but the media, the way they report it. They say like, oh, Iran is not meeting its obligations under the JCPOA. Iran is not abiding by the deal. Yes, and once again, Newsweek, they're so horrible. I came across this by accident, but there's a headline from an article they wrote 1 year ago saying Iran has pulled out of the JCPOA. No, they didn't. They're still in it, you dumb motherfucker. Like, why would you write that? Again, why would you write something that is so factually incorrect, you stupid motherfuckers? Anyway, so going back to the language, the way this is reported, Iran has a right not to follow the protocols in the JCPOA because it says so in the JCPOA. Here, I'll show it to you. It's Article 36. there you go. If you look at the last, so there's an entire mechanism of how a complaint process should be engaged, right? So they say if Iran or any of the other participants, right? So the US, UK, France, Germany, etc. You know, if they feel that one of the parties is not meeting their obligation, they can go to the Joint Commission. They can go then to their Minister of Foreign Affairs. There's an entire process here of how this should work. If you read the last paragraph, if the issue still has not been resolved to the satisfaction of the complaining participant, and if the complaining participant deems the issue to constitute significant non-performance, then that participant could treat the unresolved issue as grounds to cease performing its commitments under this JCPOA in whole or in part, and or notify the UN Security Council. Oh shit. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like exactly what the fuck is happening. Because when the United States left the deal, right, which definitely constitutes significant non-performance. That's a light way of saying the United States tore up the fucking deal, right? Well, Iran has the right to cease performing its commitments under this JCPOA in whole or in part. And indeed, they've done that in part, not in whole. So bit by bit, every time there was some kind of major transgression from the Trump regime, they would respond in kind with ceasing to perform their obligations, right? In part. This is a pressure tactic. So at first they said, okay, we're going to increase the number of centrifuges. Then they said, okay, we're going to enrich uranium past 20%. This is now. They say if Biden doesn't get back in the deal, right? It's a pressure tactic. But they're still cooperating with the IAEA, for example. They still have inspectors coming in and out. So, but the media, they don't report it that way. They just say, oh, Iran is not meeting its obligations, like as if Iran is the one that is not, adhering to the deal. No, this is what the deal says. It's in the fucking deal. I just read it to you, you motherfuckers. It's right there. Article 36, you fucks. Jesus Christ, this is so dishonest, right? They always frame it as if Iran is not adhering to the deal or performing its obligations. Motherfucker, the United States pulled out of the deal. That's it. Everyone else is fine with the fucking deal. The UN, the IAEA are fine with it. The Europeans, they're fine with it. Okay? Iran is fine with it. The United States is the issue. And once again, if they're so scared and they claim Iran has a nuclear bomb, they don't. This is ridiculous. Then why are you entering the deal if you're so concerned? Wouldn't that be the first thing you would do? No. Because what they want to get Iran's ballistic missiles. They want a new deal that covers Iran's ballistic missiles, which have nothing to do with fucking nuclear weapons. They're ballistic missiles. They're just rockets. There's no nuclear warhead inside of it. Nothing. It's a regular rocket. Okay? You got their ballistic program and then their regional support for resistance movements in Iraq and Syria, in Palestine. That's what they want to get, and that's Trump's position. Wow. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Exact same fucking shit, and they don't even hide it. But of course, the media doesn't report it that way, right? They'll never report it that way because then the jig's up. The jig's up. Then everyone can see the game clearly. So like, wow, you assholes are exactly the same. There's no difference. Maybe there might be a difference. Maybe people saying that, oh, well, now that Biden has appointed Malley, that's good because, Malley, as we saw, he was able to get this deal done. Maybe that's a good sign. Okay, that's yet to be seen. But if you're saying that deep down you would like to do the exact same things that got Trump to pull out of the deal in the first place, that's not really, that's a conflicting message over here. That's a very conflicting message. So there you go. I just thought we would look at that very briefly, and I'm glad you enjoyed the pop quiz. I'm sure you did. So